The Christa Gail Pike crime stories. In 1996, a jury convicted Pike of murder and sentenced her to death for the brutal killing of Colin Slemmer, another student at the Knoxville Job Corps. A year before, prosecutors said Pike and two other young people tortured Slemmer, repeatedly beating her and cutting her with a knife. Welcome to Just One's Crime Scene, the true crime stories. Let us start. Christa Gail Pike was born on March 10, 1976 in West Virginia. She is the youngest woman ever sentenced to death in the United States and the only woman on Tennessee's death row. She committed the crime in 1995 at age 18, and she was 20 when she was convicted of the torture and murder of Colin Slemmer, her classmate. Also charged in Slemmer's murder were Pike's boyfriend, Tadderell D. Ship, 18, and friend, Shatalai Peterson, 19. Christa became jealous of university student 19-year-old Colin Slemmer, who she thought was trying to steal her boyfriend from her. Friends of Slemmer denied the accusations. Pike began dating Tadderell Ship, who was a year younger than she, after they met in the Job Corps program. They developed interest in the occult and devil worship together. Pike, Ship, Peterson, and Slemmer were all students at the Knoxville Job Corps Center together. On January 12, 1995, Pike, Ship, Peterson, and Slemmer signed out of the dormitory and walked together to the woods, where Slemmer was told they wanted to make peace by offering her some marijuana to smoke together. When they arrived at the secluded location, Slemmer was attacked by Pike and Shep while Peterson acted as a lookout. Pike was wearing a necklace in the shape of a pentagram. After learning that the victim had a pentagram carved on her chest, he reported Pike's behavior and necklace to his superiors. Soon after her arrest, Pike confessed to the torture and murder of Slemmer, but insisted to police that they were just trying to scare her. According to court testimony, Slemmer was taunted, beaten, and slashed for the next 30 minutes, and a pentagram was carved on her chest. Then Pike smashed Slemmer's skull with a large chunk of broken asphalt, killing her. Pike said she and an accomplice stabbed and slashed Slemmer, and she threw a rock that struck the victim in the head. When Slemmer tried to run, Pike made a long cut in her back. Pike, who was just 18 at the time, was convicted of murdering Colin Slemmer, a fellow student at the Job Corps facility in Knoxville, Tennessee. Pike's story is one of manipulation, jealousy, and brutality. She had a troubled past and a history of violence, but it was her obsession with a fellow student that ultimately led to Slemmer's horrific death. Christa Gail Pike, born March 10, 1976, is an American convicted murderer and the youngest woman to be sentenced to death in the United States during the post-Furman period. She was 20 when convicted of the torture murder of her classmate Colin Slemmer, which she committed at age 18. In 1994, saddled with trauma and untreated mental health conditions, Christa enrolled in a Job Corps training program in Knoxville. Christa was studying to become a nurse like her mother. She did not know that the Job Corps program, despite promises of gaining job skills, was a toxic atmosphere of violence where students regularly carried razor blades and box cutters for protection. This environment and lack of security likely deepened Christa's underlying trauma and undiagnosed severe mental illness. In 1995, Christa committed a terrible crime at the age of 18 that left one woman dead. Christa met the victim. Christa's story: I had more than my fair share of trauma growing up, and I realized that so many others have that didn't commit violent crimes. I don't use that or anything else as an excuse for what I did. There is no excuse for what I did. I take full responsibility for my actions and regret everything that happened that night. If I could take it all back, I would. And not only to get myself out of prison. I know that's what a lot of people assume. I've already spent a lifetime in here, and I have no expectations of ever leaving these fences. That's not what this is about. I only want my situation to be looked at now through the eyes of logic, instead of anger, and answered the question of if I deserve to die for a crime committed by 3 people. I am not even close to being the same person I was over 25 years ago. Christa was 18. She had been raped twice, physically abused by at least 7 different family members, and sexually abused by at least 3 individuals. There are strong indications that Christa had been sexually abused by her grandmother's boyfriend starting at the age of 2. When Christa was 9, she was raped by a man who lived near her family. In both instances, state actors failed to report the incident or take action against the signs of abuse. At age 13, Christa was sexually assaulted by her mother's boyfriend. Following the assault, Christa was removed from her home by Children's Services, but returned home after only 3 months with minimal follow-up. At age 17, Christa was raped again by a stranger. Hospital records confirmed the rape, but only minimal investigations followed from local authorities. Throughout her childhood, Christa developed bipolar disorder and suffered from post-traumatic stress syndrome as a result of her abuse, but she never received the appropriate medical treatment or care. Instead of getting the treatment she desperately needed, Christa was instead punished for acting out. Even when she was encouraged to seek help, such as following her attempted suicide, her parents did not take her to follow on appointments. Christa Pike, with a history of severe mental illness and repeated sexual and physical abuse and violence, was sentenced to death in 1996, just a few weeks after she turned 20. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. God bless.